Equal justice under the law. This guiding principle has fueled our work at the Southern Center for Human Rights in Atlanta, Georgia, for more than 40 years. Every person who encounters the legal system has a unique story. Stephen B. Bright is President and Senior Counsel for the Southern Center for Human Rights. A longtime anti-death penalty advocate and champion for the rights of people in prison, Steve has dedicated his life to the pursuit of equal justice for all.
Primarily, that was the year that the Supreme Court of the United States upheld the resumption of the death penalty, which had been declared unconstitutional just 4 years earlier in 1972. But in 1976, the court said that the states could resume carrying out the death penalty. Secondly was the just horrific conditions in southern prisons and jails. And there was a very successful lawsuit in Mississippi that dealt with some of the worst abuses at the Mississippi State Penitentiary, more commonly referred to as Parchman Farm, which was this huge plantation prison. The idea was we need an organization that will deal with both the death penalty and also with conditions and practices in prisons and jails. We've been able not only to represent people in death penalty cases, to not only take on some of the worst prisons in the South, to take on some of the worst jails in the South, but also to deal with other issues like the right of a person accused of a crime to a lawyer, the right to counsel, because we saw over and over again that people were charged with crimes and were getting only either no representation at all or only token representation. We've taken on debtors' prisons and the fact that people in violation of the Constitution are being thrown in jail because they can't pay fines or fees. We've looked at private probation companies and we've seen predatory practices and we've taken those on. So we've stayed focused on the criminal justice system, we've stayed focused on the death penalty, prisons and jails, but also other things that are going on that are resulting in really a devastating impact on particularly communities of color. The court systems are destroying people and families and communities, and we have been a part of resisting that and trying to change that. Almost all the people in the system are poor. A grossly disproportionate number are people of color. To me, the goal is to see that people are treated fairly. That's what justice is fair treatment for people, and also reasonable and humane and compassionate treatment of people, that we don't have severe sentences, that we don't engage in barbaric practices like the death penalty, in hopes that we bring about changes, ultimately bring us to a day when people coming into the system are treated more fairly, and their dignity as people is recognized while they're in the system.
If you care about justice and want to make a difference, partner with us to reimagine equal justice. Justice does not just happen. It takes all of us working together to create the change we want to see.